Connor McFarlane. How's it going?
Good. It's going awesome. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. So what a lot has happened since the last time we met. You've had your movie Thrifters in theaters, right?
Mhm. Yeah. We premiered in a lot of Eastern Idaho places in Rexburg, Idaho Falls, Pocatello, and it was a great turnout. It was an awesome event and super cool and successful.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you back on, and we'll talk about how exactly uh, how to get your movie in theaters. And so we'll really nail down the details there, if that's good with you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Have you seen any before we get into the heavy stuff? You seen any good movies lately?
Oh, let's see. Oh man, I'll have to think about that. I went and saw Tron Ares in the theater. Super enjoyed it. Lots of fun. Exactly what I expected out of it. Um, and uh, I had not seen the movie Wicked before, and I know the second part's coming out. So I watched that last night, and that was awesome. I loved it. Very fun musical, very well done. So those are the ones I've watched just the last couple days. Some new ones, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Did you watch anything? We just passed Halloween. Did you watch any scary movies for Halloween? Is that
Oh
anything
yeah,
you do around Halloween? Is put on in some scary movies?
yeah. My favorite are the early M Night Shyamalan movies. So we watched Signs again. That's a classic every year for
Hmm.
my family, and The Village too. So those are my favorites. I know those aren't like The Sixth Sense or some of the other more scary M Night Shyamalan movies, but they're my favorite ones. I think that they have some awesome characters and a lot of. I didn't realize how much of my cinematography and screenwriting is like influenced by those two films specifically. But as I was watching them again, I was like, oh my gosh, I think these movies had a big influence on me. So it's kind of fun when you can look back at that.
Yeah, and those movies are great. I mean, they look really great too, especially The Village. I remember The Village having a really distinct aesthetic, and it was lit really well.
Hmm.
And Signs it's so nostalgic for me. I watched it probably. I was probably a teenager. I don't know when it came out, but yeah, it's fun to go back and watch those. Of course, Signs was great up until the end. I always thought, how did it feel upon rewatched? Was the whole thing great?
I still like the whole thing. Or is it mostly like the CGI and stuff at the end
It's
where you can really see
yeah.
that?
Well,
I mean,
it's
yeah, it pulls me
it's
out of it a little bit, but
yeah. So well, it's the CGI, but as soon as you show the aliens, you're like, oh, okay, it's just like a humanoid type typical
mhm.
alien. It's so much scarier when you don't see the aliens. I don't know if like you can get
Yeah,
away with a whole movie where you don't see the aliens. I guess eventually some would think you have to show them. But
right.
no, it was the really cheesy mechanism that he used with the whole swing away thing.
Oh,
Like
sure.
I don't know why that felt really cheesy to me at the end. I'm just like, and then he was destined to beat this alien to death with a baseball bat. Like and it was his destiny. And then the whole like water thing where it's just like these aliens are like killed by water and they're like, let's attack this planet that's 90% water where people have running water in their house. It's like that's very dangerous and you should have come better prepared. So I guess that's probably just me being nitpicky, but
I guess I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. That's funny.
but like the whole movie, like that one scene where like they're watching the news and the alien comes out from behind the bush or whatever. Like
Mhm.
that's some scary stuff. Like it was I don't know. It's still like I really love the movie. Um Maybe except for the end, but I do think it's a
Yeah.
really good movie
Well, I
still.
remember
So
we had talked a little bit about last time on the podcast, like Christian films or like faith in films and stuff.
mm,
I think Signs is my favorite Christian film. I would say it's a
mm,
Christian film. It's got a lot of
mm-hmm,
like Christian themes in it, obviously, and
mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like preachy at all to me. I think they did it really tastefully. I'm not sure what M Night Shyamalan's personal belief system is, but whatever it is, it was an awesome mechanism for the story to go through. I think so. I love it. I think it's awesome.
I think it was good too. Let's do a pull that up, Jamie. Let's have let's see. Is M Night Shyamalan? I'll edit this if we need to. Is M Night Shyamalan a Christian. No, he's not a Christian. He was raised Hindu, and his parents immigrated from India when he was born into Hindu upbringing. Yeah, so he was raised
Yeah,
Hindu.
that's
But
cool. Just
I
a
don't
plot
know
device, I guess. But I love it.
yeah,
I think it's good.
yeah. I don't know if it's interesting if that was like a studio note where maybe he wanted to write it to where it was a Hindu, and they're like, you have to make this
Oh yeah,
a Catholic guy. Who knows if the studio would. But I guess it
that's
probably doesn't
interesting.
matter either way with religion. But
Mhm.
cool. So those are those are two of the scary movies you watch on Halloween. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, or at least Halloween-esque films.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let's get into it. Which theaters exactly did your movie premiere at? Which?
Yes. So the first one was the Rexburg Paramount 5, which I can see right now. Actually, I am like looking at it out in the distance. The Paramount Triplex Theater in Idaho Falls and the Real Theater in Pocatello. So these were more locally owned theaters, which is important to note. It's not like these like chain theaters. Some of them are chains, but they're local chains. And yeah, so those are the three theaters.
Yeah. So they're all three locally owned. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I know the owners of all of them, and I've talked with each of them personally. And so that was actually really cool too, to learn a little bit about how a theater's managed and run, and get to know the workers there and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll get some contact information from you after the show. So did you do anything special for the screenings? Did you guys dress up in gag costumes or anything, or what'd you guys do for the screenings?
Yeah, so for the Rexburg premiere, well, I think actually for all of the premieres, we dressed up sort of in fancy red carpet clothing. In the Rexburg premiere, we had my friend True brought a big red carpet that we laid out, and then we hung up the mugshot backdrop on the wall for the actors and people involved in the film to take photos with friends and family that came to watch the movie. On all three of the premieres, we did sales of the movie on DVD and the soundtrack on CD and signed posters and all sorts of fun little goods. And I think we sold even just at some of the other screenings, some of those too. But yeah, each of the premieres was a big event. Lots of fun for people that came.
That's awesome. So why was it important to you to have theatrical screenings for your indie film?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I know that I'll tell you this. I think that at least 70% of the work that I did on Thrifters, at least, was getting it in the theaters, working that all out, promoting it, and paying for it and stuff. And I would not want to do that if it wasn't worth it to me. But I think what was important about it is I think it gives the film a little bit of prestige, to say that you've premiered it in not even just like private screening, but like as an actual showing that the theater's making money on and that you're making money on. And I also wanted to pay my actors. The film had a very small budget, so I wasn't able to pay them up front. But we're working on the accounting stuff right now to get the actors paid with profits from the theatrical premiere. So that's one of the reasons, just to get the actors paid to get the movie made, but also to, just have it be an awesome event for everyone involved, because it was a lot of our first times. It wasn't mine. I've done a premiere before in high school for my last feature, but for almost all of the actors, this is their first feature film. So I thought it was a cool experience for them too.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. So how did you decide which theaters to reach out to? Like, why these three theaters?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know that, so Rexburg one, I go to that one because I live around here, and I knew that it was going to be there's also the Romance Theater, which is a little more, I guess it's like a more fancy event venue. Um, but I landed on Paramount 5 because it's just, I don't know, it's a place that people are already comfortable with, people already go to, they know where it is, and it's locally owned. The Real Theater in Pocatello's, that was more Hondo, our lead actor, that facilitated that, because I think he knows the owner. But apparently it's a really important community landmark, I guess, kind of within the history of Pocatello. And so I think that's important to that as well. And then in terms of the Idaho Falls one, that was just the only Idaho Falls theater that reached back out, I guess. Other than, I would have had to go through like the whole AMC bureaucracy or whatever to get it into the Edwards. So I just thought, you know what, we'll go local for this one. But yeah, that's sort of how I landed on those.
All right. Well, so let's do kind of a step by step. Who do you reach out to first, and then we'll talk about like what it costs and what you have to send them. So, but yeah, who do you reach out to first? How do you find the owner of a local theater?
Yeah, so this is the fun thing about being an very independent filmmaker is I just walked into the theaters and went up to the front like I was going to buy a ticket and just said, "Hey, I'm a filmmaker. I'm local. Can I get your manager's phone number and reach out?" And they said, "Yeah." So that is mainly how I was able to get in contact with the managers and the owners of the theaters. Just walk in and talk to the employees. And then going from there, it's sort of pitching the idea and, well, I guess I'll let you kind of like ask the other questions, but that's how I got in contact with them.
Yeah. So what happened after you got in contact? Do you just meet them out for coffee and talk to them about the movie? What do you do next?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I really ever, I know I called people on the phone. I texted, maybe it would have been a great idea to kind of like, develop sort of a friendship, but with these, it was just super professional, kind of like me saying, "Hey, this is the film. I have experience with premiering a film before. That film did good, so it's likely that this one will." And you sort of just, I don't know, you sell it to them. You say, "This is going to make you money. This will make me money." And then we worked out a deal theater by theater on either ticket splitting or you rent or you pay per showtime, and then you get the ticket sales. But it really just depends on what your preference is and what the theater owner is willing to do. But all of them were really awesome and just great at negotiating a great deal for both of us.
So what are kind of the pros and cons of, so there's two kind of methods, right? It sounds like there's ticket splitting, and then there's just paying a flat fee up front, and then you get all the ticket sales, it sounds like. So what are kind of the pros and cons, and do you have a preference for which one suits you better?
Yeah, so I think the nice thing about ticket splitting is it obviously mitigates a lot of the risk of a failure or of you not breaking even. And luckily we did break even with our film, but it's it's a risk to go into a theater and to say, "I'm going to pay you $300 and let's hope people come," otherwise I'm just paying you money for empty seats. But so I definitely prefer ticket splitting because it just totally mitigates the risk. But then again, you fill up the theater and you make so much money, and that money is not going to you now. It's half of it's going to them. So it's but then again, that's also a good way if the theater owner might be hesitant. It's like that might be a good way to get them involved as well. It's like this could be a seriously profitable thing for you as well. But it just kind of depends on what your budget is and how your projection of how the film is going to do.
Right. Did you say it was like 50%? Is that typical for ticket splitting?
Yeah, that's that's my experience typically is close to 50%, or,
Okay.
40, 60, or something kind of close to that.
Yeah. So how do you convince them to not show, like a bigger Hollywood movie in their theater, which I imagine they usually do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then show your movie instead. And, how do you argue that your movie is going to make them more money than showing something in just a Hollywood movie?
Yeah, that's a great question. I thought about that a lot as I was, preparing to put it into theaters and to pitch the idea to the theater owners. One thing that I did first of all was you have to strategically plan when the film is going to be released. So releasing it in summer is probably not a great idea because you're going to be competing with the year's biggest blockbusters. So what I did is I looked at basically the dead seasons that movies don't really come out. I also researched. I looked at big movies that were coming out this year, movies that I knew the theaters would prioritize, and October had very few, if any, at the beginning of the month that were going to be. It was sort of just leftovers from summer. They were still showing Fantastic Four and Superman, but like everyone's seen those by that point, and so that's what I did to kind of say, all right, like, first of all, not you don't have that many films playing in the first place. Second of all, and then the other thing is, you have to emphasize the local nature of it will make it more, I don't know, like impressionable to people within the community. So where thrifters might not do awesome in like California, it's going to do great here because it's filmed here, and like I've got lots of connections and stuff that we can get people to come and watch it. So it's just about helping whoever you're trying to help you screen a film recognize the value of your film, and that it will probably be a good idea for them.
Do you know which films they sacrificed to play your film?
Don't know exactly. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I definitely know some of the films that we're playing. I don't know. Well, I can't speak to this because I'm not a theater owner, but I don't know if there's like a deadline that you have to like stop playing certain movies. But it seemed like they were dragging some movies on, so I don't know if they even had any that they were like sacrificing. Because but maybe I'm totally wrong on that. I think they just barely stopped playing Superman, and Superman came out like months ago. Like theatrical runs aren't that long. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they did
maybe for
sacrifice
Superman.
any. So luckily that was sort of my goal. Was I didn't want them to have to lose money on a different movie to show mine. So I don't think they did, but I might not be. That might be wrong, but I don't think that happened. So that's good.
Yeah. Did anyone help you? Like, it sounds like Hondo helped you a bit with the Pocatello one. Did anyone help you get the two Paramount theaters, or are you just a lone wolf?
I was kind of just a lone wolf. It's tough when you do that because you kind of have to. You have to kind of prove that you're legitimate a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm not just this weird guy. Like I have a company. We've got people involved in this film. And so I would say that anyone out there that's trying to get a film in a theater or get a film screened somewhere, really try to validate your position and the authenticity of your project. Put together like a very organized and systemized sales pitch to them, so that they take you seriously. That's the best advice I could give, because I think it's easy for independent filmmakers to be brushed off if they don't look like they're skilled or have stuff together for it.
Yeah. Do you think you have to start an LLC to approach? Is it helpful, you think, to have like an LLC when you approach like local theaters?
I think having an LLC is really helpful in any part of the filmmaking process. I think it just kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of like having a college degree where it's like, it might not even have anything to do with what you're actually doing, but it's like, I paid money and put in work to like to have this thing, and I think it provides some form of like authority, I guess, that you're really a legitimate like operating business basically, but it's obviously not required. But I think it's helpful. I think it makes you look, I don't know, better.
Yeah. How much is it to start an LLC, if you don't mind my asking?
It's not too bad. I think it's a $100 like fee to start it, to file your stuff, and then I pay for a registered agent service, so that my home address is not on the internet. And there's a couple other things that you pay for. Um, and then obviously to run a business costs money, but just to start it, it's like maybe $135.
Can you tell me what a registered agent service is?
Yeah, so a registered agent is basically someone that will they'll accept your mail for you. So you need to have an agent that is registered with the state to accept your business mail, and specifically like filings from the government, from the state government. And you can be your own registered agent, but all of your information will need to be filed. And so if you want to kind of protect your autonomy, you would usually go with a registered agent service. Or if you're like a bigger corporation, you would hire a registered agent to do your stuff for you. But so that's sort of the process that I went through.
Okay. Did you talk to an accountant or anyone to get your LLC started, or?
No, not really. It's not too
It's pretty
crazy.
easy.
I mean, you go to the bank, you open up a business bank account and stuff, and it takes some time, lots of paperwork, and a lot of people that you need to talk to. But I would say monetarily, it's a pretty cheap thing to start an LLC.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask, like, my accountant, and I'm starting to think I need to get a second opinion, is like, you don't need an LLC. It's just you. So an LLC doesn't protect you from anything. If they look at the LLC and it's just you, people can still come after you. But I haven't asked them about the registered agent service. So maybe I need to get like a second opinion. But so to start an LLC, it sounds like it can just be you. You don't need to list anyone else on when you're creating your LLC.
Yeah, no, I created a sole member LLC.
Heck yeah. All right. That's good news. And I keep seeing creatives start their own LLCs. So I'm starting to feel like the odd one out. And especially where I have people for the film festival, borrowing equipment. Yeah. It's like, I should probably start an LLC just in case I want to get like equipment insurance and someone else broke it,
right.
That kind of thing. So
yeah, that's
probably
helpful.
smart.
Yeah.
So I'll move on from that and we'll talk about marketing, the theatrical screenings. So how did you promote the theatrical screenings for thrifters? Like, what'd you do for local press? What'd you do on social media, posters, events? What kind of stuff did you do?
Yeah, I love it. I ran the whole social media. We started off very early. I remember the first trailer that we posted for the film was before the film was even finished being filmed. So I think it was in the week in between we did 2 weeks of filming, 1 week in between break. And it was during that week break that we released our first trailer. And then from then on, we posted behind the scenes, other promotional material, sort of like featurettes about the making of the film. And that I think got a lot of traction. Another thing we did is we got posters up at the theaters, and then it's very tough with sort of like little pamphlets or flyers, because you can't really just put them up places because that's vandalism, and I think it's very difficult to. It's a total process to try to get things put up here at the school or in other businesses. A lot of businesses have little community boards, so obviously we went around and put them up everywhere there. But the main thing we did, and we spent just hours and hours doing this, is I had my good friends Zach and Taylor and Jenna and Sarah and myself all went out and handed out flyers individually, one-on-one, to people around BYU Idaho campus, around Idaho Falls downtown. And Hondo helped out too one time. And we just did one-on-one sort of spreading the word. And it was really cool because we got to talk to people about the film. We got to explain it to people and make sort of like a personal connection where they meet the people actually who made the film. And I think that immediately makes people more interested in seeing something than just like an ad that they get randomly. But we did do a couple paid ads as well. But I would say that was maybe in order to get total strangers to go to the film. I think that was probably the best. And then quickly, local media or local press did tons with East Idaho News, Local News 8. We did some stuff with BYU Idaho Radio and the Scroll and stuff here. So lots of stuff to get people aware of the movie over the news. And honestly, I didn't think people watched the news that much, but apparently they do. And
I was gonna say, I was like,
yeah.
I don't even know if I'm gonna do local press for the film festival, because it's like you go on their social media pages, and it's like crickets most of the time, unless it's like a post that goes viral about some Idaho murder or something.
Right.
But
right.
But yeah, I guess local news, it's going to be on TV, so I guess there's still still people out there watching the local news on their TVs. Go figure.
Yeah. No, I would totally recommend it because a lot of people said that they heard about the movie from the news. I remember one time Hondo and I were in the Antique Mall. I don't know why we were there. Were we just filming? We might have just been filming. Yeah, because I think we got a TV spot in between our filming days, and some random guys were like, "Hey, you guys are the ones making that movie, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, we saw you on the news." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I guess people do watch the news." So I think and it's free. So
yeah, and they're looking for feel good local pieces like that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably pretty useful. So do you do Q&A sessions at the screenings? Like after the screenings, do you get up there and take questions from the audience or anything?
Not really. I wish we would have done that. I think that could have been a really fun activity to do. I know that we did obviously stick around afterwards. And so that was sort of like, interpersonal Q&As happened, but something big like that would have been really fun. I know that at the beginning of the film, we would do a little introduction. We'd have like a speaker and the film would be introduced. I remember I introduced the Rexburg one, and then actually this is kind of a fun little tidbit too, so I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a little over a year ago. I just got home a little over a year ago, and my mission leaders that kind of like oversee the entire group of missionaries, they live in Pocatello, and they sort of facilitated the Pocatello premiere, at least the first one. Got a lot of people to come, and then they were the ones that introduced the film and sort of talked about the importance of it to them and stuff. So that was super cool. It was fun to have some people involved that I was not expecting to be involved in this project.
Yeah, it's nice to have a community like that that'll help you out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So next question. What was the biggest unexpected obstacle that you bumped into trying to get your movie into theaters, you think?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that question. Because for months and months, it was a huge ordeal to get the DCP files to work in the projector. So DCP, I'm sure you know what it is, but anyone that doesn't, it's a digital cinema package, right? And it's basically the file format that projectors read. And I was using the DaVinci packaging method. I was also using DCP-O-Matic, which is an open source DCP packaging. agent thing, and none of those were working. We would get the trailer or even the feature film into the theater and wasn't working at all. And there was no really rhyme or reason to it. So it was just kind of like, all right, go mess around with it again and see if it works. Finally, a couple weeks, maybe like 2 weeks before the actual like day that the film was going to premiere, I was at the Idaho Falls Theater troubleshooting, and they were like, "Oh, did you do this on an Apple or on a Windows computer?" And I'm like, "Apple." They're like, "Well, it never works on Apple." I'm like, "Okay." So I got my old crusty Windows laptop out and I did it on there, and everything worked perfectly.
Weird.
So, yeah, it was just, I don't know. I hate tech stuff like that. I think that's
It's
what I
so annoying,
realized
yeah.
there is I'm like, I'm never going to be a projectionist. I'm never going to be someone that's dealing with tech troubleshooting. That is not my forte. So
Yeah, same. And I don't
yeah.
understand like why we need the DCP for the film festival, the Spark of Madness Film Festival. We can just show MP4s, and so I'm going to just have a giant hard drive and a backup, and you just plug it into their computer, and you turn the projector off, you find your file, you hit play, you turn the projector back on, bada bing, bada boom. So I don't understand the need really for DCPs, and I've heard so many nightmares about DCPs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they couldn't show their film at the Boise Film Festival. This happened last month. There was a film that I was excited to see, and they're like, "Oh, you can't go see that. The DCP doesn't work." It's like, "Oh, you're not going to show the film now?" It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks." So yeah, I don't understand enough to know why you need DCP, but it seems like a headache. It seems like a nightmare.
It is. Yeah, and this will probably, for people who do know, it's going to make me sound totally ignorant, but I look at these projectors and they're like bigger than me, and I'm like, that machine can't play an MP4. Like,
Yeah.
it can't. Like, it just, like, really?
No, it's not true either, because I know at least the one at the theater that we're going to use,
Yeah.
they play DCP for all of their stuff, except it is hooked up to a computer, and they say it can totally play MP4s. So I guess it's more, maybe more professional in some way for them to play their main movies on DCP, but it seems like they totally have the capacity to do MP4 as well, at least our theater. So
interesting.
Yeah, it is weird. So is there anything you do differently in this whole getting your movie into theaters process, looking back?
I don't know. I would say it was a good turnout. You always wish there was more. You always wish you could have expanded your reach a little bit more. And I think if I had more money at my disposal, I definitely would have done some more, maybe even community events or just more paid advertising. Just get the word out to people that might be really interested in it. But I think we did everything within our budget and within our means to get the people who wanted to see the movie or who maybe didn't know it yet but would love it to go see it. And so I don't know if I really have any huge regrets, anything I could have done super differently, I guess. But that's what I love about these processes of making independent films, is that I've learned so much through this, specifically about the distribution and the theatrical things, that next time I want to do this, which probably won't be for a while because I'm a little worn out, I will have a lot of tools and experience at my disposal to say, oh, well, the DCP is not working. I've had this problem before, or you want to go get your theater or your film in a theater. I know kind of how to talk to the owners and help them recognize the potential of the film. I've already helped out a lot of filmmakers. Some of them I think that you've maybe interviewed or maybe not. But I've already helped out people to help them start getting their films in theaters or starting a funding for their films or anything like that. So I love being a help to other people, learning my mistakes and then helping people not make the same ones.
I love it. I'm going to edit this part out. Which filmmakers have you helped? And I want to reach out to them to see if they want to submit anything. Who'd you help
Yeah.
out?
I know that, what's Lexi's? Lexi has a cousin named, I can send it to you
Is
over
it
the email.
Isabel?
No, but I've been working with Isabel, to help her fund her next project,
Okay, sweet.
with Indiegogo. It's like, his name's Julian,
Cool.
I think. Julian Means.
Means?
Yeah, Julian Means. He's done some films.
Julian Means. Cool. Yeah, it's fun starting this film festival because there's so many people popping up. I had a guy in Pocatello today come by a Lens, and he does kind of snowmobile adventure documentary stuff, and he's just starting out. But I'm like, dude, we're having a film festival. He's like, sweet, man, I'll submit something.
That's awesome.
So it's surprising how many people there are around here. So it's going to be really cool to like meet everybody.
Yeah, I'm so excited to go and see everyone's films and stuff. I'm definitely going to attend and love to meet some people there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited too. So streaming's a thing.
Yeah.
Right. So most people are watching things on streaming and they rarely go out to the theaters. So is there a type of movie that you think is more attractive to people to get them out of the house and bring them into the theaters? Is there a particular genre? Or what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love watching all sorts of movies, but definitely the ones that I prioritize are the ones that, are the big screen, blockbusters with the huge sound design and those visuals that you really want to experience in like total, being totally immersed in it. I think that's maybe the problem with some independent films, especially, are typically stories set at a slower pace with a lot less grandeur and spectacle. And I think that's fine. I personally like movies like that more. Like most of my favorite movies are very low tempo, kind of like rounded films, but those aren't super interesting to see on the big screen. Um, and so I think that it's tough to get people to go to like an A24 drama or like like a Searchlight biopic or something. Like those are hard to get people to go to as opposed to Tron or Superman or whatever. But people are just going to the theater less and less anyways. Like at my parents' house, they just installed this giant TV, and I'm just like, every time I'm there, I'm just obsessed with it. I'm like watching my favorite movies on basically a theater screen, and I can see why people would prefer that, but it's like such an interesting question because it's like I love theaters. Like there's a magic to being in a theater and watching things with people, and I never want that to go away. But it's getting harder. So I know I'm not going to be the one to solve the dilemma, but it's certainly something I think about a lot.
Here's what I think we should do. It's going to be like libraries. We don't need libraries every day. There's not a lot of people that go there, but we still need libraries and we got to keep them around. Mm-hmm. So it's like movie theaters. Maybe we should just start putting movie theaters in libraries and they'll stick around. Yeah. Smart idea.
Like
it's a genius.
Combining the two. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. So so how did
we'll have the government pay for libraries now?
I'm sure they'll be very
movie
open
theaters.
To
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did putting your movie in theaters affect the life cycle of your film? Like, is it affecting your submissions to film festivals and when you're gonna premiere your your movie publicly? How's it affecting that kind of stuff? And distribution, how's it affecting distribution?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that's an important thing for especially independent filmmakers who want to be submitting their films to festivals to keep in mind is like a lot of festivals have premiere status of that it needs to either be the first place that it's being shown. A lot of the big ones like TIFF or Sundance are like, you basically have to choose one. if you want to go to one of those, and it's got to be your first um, premiere, has got to be there for a lot of those. For more local film, like lower key film festivals, they either don't have a premiere status or it's like locally premiered. So I think I did one in like Florida or something where it's like it's got to be a premiere in Florida, but not everywhere else in the country. Um, Streaming's difficult too because a lot of them don't allow your film to be streaming while it's at the festival. I think with all of mine that I've submitted to, I don't believe that any of them had premiere status, and I didn't care about that. I guess basically, I think this one's out. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but the life cycle of the film's been interesting. I wanted to go to that part of the question because I think people have been anticipating the film for so long. They got to see it, or some people did, and now it's kind of like, I don't know. I think the hype is. I don't want Thrifters to overstay its welcome. I guess I am ready to move on to the next thing, and I think other people who are a fan of what I'm doing want that too. So I've definitely started working on other projects, posting about other stuff, and but it's exciting for people who still want to see it. The current plan is this week, on November 7th, we're premiering it on YouTube. I was working with Film Hub to do distribution to like streaming services, but I'll tell you, I would honestly say if you want to distribute with Film Hub, you should like be planning on that from like pre-production. Like you should be like figuring out how to follow their standards and guidelines in your pre-production for your film. So because there is a lot involved in it and a lot of specifications, because they have to distribute it to tons of platforms that all have their own weird specifications, or their poster sizes are different. And so I would say if you're doing that, like do it to do that. I think that's my advice for any independent filmmaker is like, your film's either going to be a festival film, and if it's a festival film, you should prioritize that and make it accessible for festivals. Make it a festival film. If you want it to be a streaming film, make it a streaming film. You're probably not going to get into any of the big festivals if you make it for streaming. But I think, and maybe that's too binary, but I think that there are, I think you should know what your film's going to be. I don't know if I really knew that. I just knew it was going to, I knew it was going to be a theater film. I knew it was going to be a theatrical premiere. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So is it worth the work? Do you regret putting in all the work to get it into theaters or do you think you would have rather spent that energy just making another short film, or, is it a good use of your resources, you think?
Yeah, I think it was, I think for me, I've done a film premiere before and it was awesome. I think for the other people involved, that's what made it all worth it to me, was seeing Hondo and Lexi at that red carpet and seeing their family members there, seeing friends of mine that came to support me. And that was that was better and more rewarding to me than, I don't know, just like the prestige of having a film in the theater. I didn't, sort of the hype or interest of that has kind of gone away from me ever since I premiered my first film. And it's just the next one, I guess. But what I did love was seeing other people happy and other people like having an experience like I had the first time premiering my film. But it was awesome. It was so good. I definitely am happy with where it went. I think a lot of filmmakers start a project, but they don't really see it through. They don't like get it out there, or they don't get people interested or make it a fun event. So I think that was cool. I think our hard work was well well received, and we got a lot of praise for it, which was awesome.
That is great. Yeah. So, no big attempt at a big film festival run. Is that right?
Yeah, I think Thrifters is an awesome film. I think it has a lot of heart to it, and I learned a lot. And there are some parts that are legitimately really good. But I think to pay the fees to, and also to sort of the blocks that it puts in for going to other festivals or to get it on streaming, I think that it's just not up to par with other stuff that you'd be seeing at Cannes or Toronto or whatever. I mean, you're literally competing with like really, really good stuff and with really, really big budgets. And so that's sort of what I thought. I'm like, this isn't the one. This isn't the film that's going to, make us all, famous millionaires. I think it can lead us, maybe it can lead us to that film. Maybe I meet someone at Spark of Madness, or maybe I meet someone at Zion Indie or something that gets me on board with the project that becomes that. But Thrifters is not that, and it never was going to be. I said that to everyone from the beginning. I'm like, this is a passion project. This is for fun. This is to get experience and to get our names out there. And it did exactly what I wanted it to. So I'm super proud of it and what it did.
Yeah. So I made a feature film as well, and did make the mistake of submitting it to a bunch of festivals without your without your insight into what it was. Where it was my practice movie, and I'm actually a big advocate for like a practice feature film, like shooting for 10, 12 days on just like one movie. I think it's really good practice. But yeah, now that we're starting our own film festival, to show a feature film, right? It's usually got to be pretty dang good and well polished. And, if you show a feature film, if it's 90 minutes, that's saying no to like 9 artists who made 10-minute shorts, right? So It's like, I think, where do you think you're going to go from here? You're going to stay with features? Because I'm kind of going back to making short films and putting maybe the same amount of effort into short films as I did with my feature. Where are you looking? You sticking with making feature films?
That's a great question. I have a couple of feature films script stuff that I'm working on right now. The problem with me is like, I love the sort of like watching like a character go through all this change. A lot of my favorite films are, by the end of the movie, you're just so connected with this character because you've had a lot of time to sit with them and to see their actions in a lot of different circumstances. And that's not even to mention TV shows where you have whole seasons to do that. And I think sometimes short films it's hard for me to do a lot of character work. It's not like impossible, but short films are usually conceptual and they're usually about the concept and less about the story, in my experience, or like the ones that I've watched. It's almost like a lot of short films are just like a scene basically. And that can be awesome. It can be super cool to hone your skills and to tell a story that maybe doesn't need to be a feature. But I certainly have some ideas I've had to scale down from looking at it as, oh, we need to make this a feature film. And then to say, well, do we? Because I don't know if we do. Like a lot of like I've got a feature, or I had a feature that I was going to make with a friend of mine, sort of like about our friendship and about how we met. And then I was thinking, well, the whole movie, it would be about a sort of feeling, like a sort of moment in time that we want to capture and express. And then I thought that could be done in a short film, and it could be done maybe a lot better in a short film. And so it's sort of a double-edged sword. I think sometimes I think stuff needs time to be fleshed out, but other times I'll watch movies that are like 2.5 hours. I'm like, this could have been 90 minutes. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And
So
that's
many
something
movies like that.
yeah, that's something I felt strongly with Thrifters, is that it needed to be as short as possible while still
Mhm.
being a nice, like a feature. Like, uh, and so I think it ended up being an hour 46, which is longer than I wanted it to be, but, um, I think I got it down from about 2 hours and 10 minutes. It was originally, first draft, and I had to cut a lot of it down, to make it where it was. But yeah, short films mostly right now, but a couple fun feature ideas in the works. So we'll see what comes next. I don't know.
So there's a couple things there. So short films, I think they are mostly about concepts, and I think you're right that it's harder to talk about character in those films. So for anyone listening, I think what you need to do is the concept that you're trying to convey, it really needs to be a human concept. It can't just be something, oh, like, uh, yeah, how do I say this? Like, it can't just be kind of like a concrete philosophical meditation. Like, I'm working on a film now that's about kind of the inevitability of death. And I feel like that's something that all human beings are maybe worried about, or at least they think about. But, so why am I watching a film that's just like not really about anything deeply human? It's just like, oh, I'm trying to think of an example, but do you ever see short films that are just kind of like, maybe it's like a 10-minute film just about like a joke or something, and it's not so much about
Yeah.
something deeply human?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever seen anything? Man, I'm probably just rambling. But I would say that if you're going to make a feature film and you're making it for something, let's say under $50,000, I'd say probably try to keep it under 2 hours, because I've seen some 2-hour films made for like 10K, and very rarely is that a good idea. I'd say, and like over 2 hours, some of these movies, and it's
Wow.
just, I think if you're going to do that 90-minute feature film as like a great exercise and you want to submit it to festivals, yeah, try to keep it at 90 minutes.
Yeah,
Probably
definitely.
don't don't go over 90. Don't go over 2 hours. Let's say that's kind of the cutoff for our film festival too, is 2 hours. So
Yeah.
are you planning on making any features, you think, over 2 hours? What do you think?
I don't know if I can see myself. There's a feature I am starting to write right now with a couple friends in a different company, and it's sort of I don't know if it's fleshed out enough to talk about it too much yet, but I could see this one maybe being like a 2 hour film, like not over 2 hours, but about 2 hours. Um, but not really. I don't like watching movies that are, maybe it's my attention span, but I just think it's hard for me to watch anything over 2.5 hours. Um, Unless it's just super engaging. I think editing is really important, at least. That's something I've been happy with that people have said about Thrifters is, they say that it doesn't feel as long as it is, which is maybe the best compliment I could ever receive in terms of my like editing. I guess I'm like, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you didn't get bored while watching it, because that is my first film. My first feature was 2 hours and 16 minutes, and there's no world in which Swerve needed to be 2 hours and 16 minutes. It is just totally unbelievable. And I thank you, anyone that watched that and like sat through the whole thing. Like, holy cow. But, yeah, no, I think, well, I was just thinking as you were talking too, like conceptual short films are really interesting. My personal favorite short film I've ever done is called Compulsion. And, it's a Lego stop motion. I need to recreate it with maybe live action or something so I can actually like flesh the idea out a little bit more. But it's like 5 minutes, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. It's just look up like Connor McFarlane Compulsion or something. But it's a really interesting conceptual film, and a lot of people have really liked it. I won a student Emmy for that one, and it just like works so well. I don't think there's any dialogue in it. And then I compare that to like another short film I did called Alien Hunters, which was just a feature, but short, and it's just not good. Like it's fun. It was fun to make, but it's not anything I'm super proud of. And it's because you cut a lot. That's just what it is. It's like you're making a feature, but it's just short. It's just making a feature without the things that make it a feature. So I would say conceptual short films are certainly my favorite to watch and make.
Yeah. Yeah. So what short films are you working on? What you got cooking? Do you have any concepts you want to talk about, or are you keeping them kind of secret?
Well, I got a couple. They're not like super crazy. So I don't really care if you steal them, because like they're probably not even original. But so the first one I'm working on with my friend Jojo, we're making a film sort of about our friend. She's a really good friend of mine, and we're working on a film about two characters that are sort of modeled after ourselves, who have telepathic powers because they're so similar. They can like read each other's minds, and that helps them do fun stuff. But then they start to lose that power, and it's like they have to decide, like, how do we continue our friendship and our connection without this thing that we thought was important to it. So that can have some interesting sort of themes and stuff. There's a project I've been working on for a while about it's sort of a play on one of my favorite independent films called The Living Wake, which is a film. It's got Jesse Eisenberg. I'd recommend it to anyone. I love that movie. And it's basically this guy learns that he has, I think, maybe it's like a month to live. He knows exactly the day that he's going to die and the time. And so he spends a whole last day of his life knowing that he's going to die, kind of like doing the things that he never got to do before, or resolving things in his life. Amazing movie, super funny. And I wanted to do something like that, but a little less dramatic. And so essentially it's a similar scenario. This woman learns that she's going to go completely blind in, I think we haven't really decided on like a week or a month or whatever. And so she has to do the last things that she can with her sight, and before she goes completely blind. And there's a couple other ideas, but those are the main ones. Going for a little less genre oriented this time around. It's weird, as an independent filmmaker, the genres I've tackled are action, thriller, and superhero, which are the most expensive genres to do, basically. And I've done sci-fi too. So.
I love it. Well, Connor McFarlane, thank you very much for coming back on, and we'll have you back on a third time. Who knows, next month. Sweet man. Thanks a lot.